you want to get along with your colleagues? Do you want to be able to share personal information? Milestones in your life? Are your colleagues your friends? And if so, where do we draw the line when things go wrong? It's all prompted, of course, by this tribunal looking into alleged misconduct by the Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mbenenge. I want you to listen to one of the moments from the week that has gone by, where a former secretary, Zintle Ngai, who in fact is there to speak on behalf of the judge president, speaks about how the comments he would make were commonplace. This is who he was to everyone, and that perhaps the complainant in the matter might have misunderstood what the good judge was saying. Have a listen.
Just as I passed this incident, was it usual that the JEP will raise such issues?
Njengokuba kusenzeka ke yonke lento ingeba ibinto eqhelekileyo loba ujaji uyawusuka nje athethe butyu izinto ezinje.
Oh, intetho yakhe yemihla ngemihla.
Oh yes, that's his daily talk.
When we talk about daily talk, we mean about how people are dressed.
Uthetha ngayo yonke imihla into yendaba yabantu babanxibe njani utsho.
We ungumuntu othanda ukuqaphela indlela onxibe ngayo. Seyiligqwetha lifika ofisini yakhe uzawuqala jonga indlela enxibe ngayo. Seyindim ndingena ofisini uzonibuza hayibo ntomekulu utheni namhlanje awuvukanga uselele anxibe night dress.
Yes, he is like that. He will even pass this comment to a lawyer that will be coming into his office. The first thing he will notice is how a particular person is dressed. Even with myself, he will notice if I walk into the office and ask me, Haibo, big girl, are you awake? Why do you seem to be still dressed in your sleepwear?
All right, so you can hear the three voices, of course. Firstly, you are hearing Griffiths Madonsela, the lawyer representing Mbenenge, asking the former secretary, Ngai, these questions, and then you hear the translator there, and I think it's all self-explanatory. So words like big girl, talking to the colleagues about the curtains they were wearing at work. It really is quite extraordinary because so many of us can fall foul of the decorum, especially if there are no established rules. So we've invited an expert. Dr Sanele Gamede is a consultant and lecturer at the University of Johannesburg, focusing on communications and media. A pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much, Bongani. Good morning to 702 listeners. It's quite a very Friday interesting topic.
Yes, it is. We thought we'd maybe lighten things up. We've had a rough week. But you're chuckling even as we're playing some of these clips because many South Africans would have heard them. And it isn't always clear what rules are in many a workplace. What does this case tell us about power and language in the workplace?
It's quite interesting because you said, let's keep it light, but I just wanted to rehash that teaching communication and media, there is what we call non-verbal communication, which plays a huge role in the communication space. And then in the workplace, it's quite a different space with different people. And now it's complicated. Bongani, we have people from different countries, people from different cultures, and we have got different, depending on the company that you work for, we have got different hierarchies. So I think the communication should remain professional, but it doesn't mean we can't have sense of humor.
What's professional? Because he might say he was joking when he referred to the big girl wearing a curtain.
I'm a big sharer. For example, I talk, I share, I joke, I and say, hey, this looks great. But I think you need to have a sense of, I know this person, we have a good relationship with them. It's not just anyone that I probably say this to because
all right, Dr. Gamede, let me come at it in a different way.
Yeah.
Think of how commonplace it is now to be in a WhatsApp conversation or even a group chat with many of our colleagues, because I think email, unless it's a formal document or something of that sort, is fast becoming yesterday's technology or way to communicate. So we could be in a group and an emoji is attached as a response to a comment or a request, right? Sometimes you get the sharp, the hands that go up. But sometimes somebody's sharing good news and there's an emoji with, that kiss with the heart.
Yes.
Right? Or there'll be a side eye. Maybe this person is displeased at the comment. How do we navigate those?
I think read the room. Know the people that you share these WhatsApp emojis with, these comments with, because some of them might be, let's say, a little bit matured, who probably don't understand what is this now. So having a group with 25-year-olds is different from having a WhatsApp group with, let's say, 55-year-olds. So I think you need to understand. I always do this, Bongani. I always, when I share the emoji, is accompanied with a text. So, or it's a text, then the emoji. And I wouldn't advise someone to just share a text that has a kiss to someone, or in a WhatsApp group that has people at work.
Don't leave room for ambiguity.
Yes, and remember, Bongani, when we communicate, people understand communication differently and interpret communication differently. So that would be the problem.
Is silence acceptance? I mean, if I laugh awkwardly at a joke, does that mean I was okay with it because I chuckled? Because maybe I was, silence would have been too tense?
Hey, it's quite an interesting one, because someone will smile, not necessarily that they agree with the joke.
Or that they like it.
Probably they are smiling at the reaction of the other colleague that this joke probably was said to. But you'll find that when it comes to maybe asking for promotion and all of that, and they ask for character whatsoever, this person will probably come up and say, hey, Mina, I don't think this person will lead us. The type of jokes, the types of comments that he or she makes, I don't think this person will be proper to lead us.
All right. Can memes shared in what might be assumed to be private spaces, and I'm saying that in inverted commas, can that lead to disciplinary action?
It depends who's after you. Some of these things, people, they just become so tense about it. It doesn't really mean that you need to go after someone for it.
If I'm offended, why can't I?
I mean, we humans, I believe we should say, hey, Bongani, I didn't like what you said. Hey, Bongani, can you explain this emoji?
You're in a position of authority. I can't challenge you. I'm uncomfortable. You've made these jokes. I want this matter addressed by the business. Why can't I?
I mean, going as far as the director for an emoji that probably you could, we have spoken to a mentor at work and say, hey, how do I raise this to my HOD?
Look, the thrust of my question essentially is, shouldn't leaders, managers, or those who are in authority be held to a higher standard when it comes to their conduct and this kind of language?
Of course, but without being uptight. We wouldn't want an HOD that is always a dear Dr. Sanele Gamede. But at the same time, you have to be held into a higher standard. The type of communication, the type of jokes that you will say, you will have to make sure that they are not as offensive.
What does a young professional do if they feel that they are being targeted or they're being objectified, but there isn't necessarily anything tangible that they can pin it down to, but they just know when that man speaks, when that leader speaks, their skin crawls?
I feel like it's nice to have, Bongani, I'm sure some, they would be privileged like myself to have a mentor at work who they will then go and say, hey, I might be overreacting, but there is this thing, man, that I feel that I don't understand. Please advise me. Or a colleague that you trust, or someone that you trust even outside work, to say, there is this thing, man, that has no substance, but I don't know how it feels. How would you think I should address it if I have to address it?
One of the things we've seen in the Mbenenge case, some messages were deleted or even left out. So again, how does selective sharing of information or evidence, because even as I go to my colleague to say, I'm not happy about this, I might not necessarily show what I said that led to things getting to that stage.
I think it's a sign that kwawena you are dodgy because you are not sharing everything and you are being selective on what you are sharing. I think for me, let us, if you were offended by what I said, let's have the conversation, let's have the relationship. Oh, we have never been friends. This person just, boom, sent me an emoji. Or we were friends, but all of a sudden it started becoming uncomfortable.
Does your workplace have clear enough guidelines in terms of how to be friendly and yet not be inappropriate in dealing with not only your colleagues, but even indeed those in authority over you, or indeed your own subordinates? How have you navigated this tricky terrain? Dr. Sanele Gamede, appreciate your time from the Department of Communication and Media at the University of Johannesburg.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.